one to avenge them. Me! Me! I'm going to defeat you!
Welcome everyone to another on the internet Sonic Riders beginner's tutorial. My name is Zarkader. Welcome to the tutorial. What I have here is Sonic Riders. I've loaded up a fresh save file, so if you're new to the game, if you're trying to learn how to play, how to get good at it, I'm here for you, and we're just gonna go all default fresh save file. So these are the characters you're gonna start with, and these are the gears you're gonna start with. They all have their own default gear here. So let's start talking about how the game works. So this is a racing game, obviously, and I've just entered a normal like free race with we're gonna have some AI just racing against us, and we can choose any character. So we start with Sonic. Obviously, is a speed type character. You can see behind him it says speed. Then we have Tails is fly type, Knuckles is power type, and then we have other characters. Amy is speed, Jet's speed, Storm is power, and Wave is fly. And then you'll get some more characters from beating the story and doing other side content. So we're just gonna stick with Sonic for now, with his default gear. You can press Y, none of this matters. We'll go over gears later, but for now we're just gonna enter a race, and I'm gonna just tell you a little bit about the controls. So first thing you want to do, okay? This is the optimal way to start any race in this game. All right, so as soon as the race starts here, what you're gonna do is you're gonna hold back on the left stick, and you can skip the cutscene or not, it doesn't matter. When the timer says 2.7, I might have done a little early there, so I'm gonna let go of the stick for a second. When it says 2.7, just flick the stick forward, and you'll get a pretty decent start every time. So I know I'm doing a lot of stuff you might not understand right now. I'm gonna explain it bit by bit. So the first thing, left stick, right, moves you left and right, okay? You want to be holding forward most of the time. It actually doesn't matter if you hold forward or if you just hold the stick neutral. But the reason I like to hold it forward at all times is just so I get a better arc on my turns. So I don't like flick left or right too quickly, you know what I'm saying? But it doesn't matter for you, just whatever feels comfortable. The R and L buttons are both the drift buttons. Now these buttons are much more important than you would think at first here. Every stage is going to have one of these little mini games where you just spin the stick, and that just restores your boost meter on the right side there. So the boost is sort of the main mechanic of this first Sonic Riders game, and also best Sonic Riders game. Press the B button or the X button to boost, and as long as you have enough boost in the meter there, you pretty much just want to do it whenever you have a chance, whenever you're not in the air and stuff. So throughout this race, I'm collecting rings, right, as Sonic does all the time. And at default, at the beginning of a race, you'll be level 0, unless you have some special gears that we'll maybe talk about later in the video. You'll start with 0 rings, and then you'll have like level 0 boost, right, where your board just kind of kicks forward and you get a little burst of speed. And when you have 30 rings, you'll level up, and then at 60 rings, you'll also level up again, and nothing happens at 90. But at 60 rings, you'll have a level 3 boost, like me right now, where each character is going to have a special animation for her. Like Sonic does a spin dash, Tails pulls out like an electric cord or some shit for some reason, and like Jet has like fans. You know how it is. So basically the gist is every level you go a little bit faster, both in base speed and boost speed. Both goes up the more rings you have. So that's very good. There's no reason to have more than 60, but a lot of this game, if you're playing it without like, emulating and getting a save file off the internet, you're going to want to collect a lot of rings. You can only collect 100 per race, so there's a little bit of farming involved if you want to like collect everything in the game, but you don't need to collect everything in the game. We're going to restart here, and we're going to try again as I explain more.
Get a great start.
So like I said, at 2.7, you flick the stick forward and you'll get a decent start. So jumping, okay? So the way jumping works in this game is pretty fucked up, TBH. So what you want to do is you don't just jump as in, you don't just press A like this. This is slow, and I'm not even in first anymore. That's bullshit. The way it works is you want to hold A to charge a jump and release it at the edge of a ramp. Now, you're gonna... It might take a little bit to familiarize yourself with exactly how long the jump charge takes. What I can tell you is you can tell by the point where Sonic really slows down. Like, he slows down as soon as I start holding A, but there's a significant kickback where he loses like 50 miles an hour all at once while I'm holding A, like you can see right there. That is the point when it starts slowing down more. That's the point where it's pretty much a fully charged jump. And the more jump charge you have, the longer you've held it up to that max, the higher and faster you will jump. And what I mean by faster is you are able to move the left stick off of any ramp jump, and depending on which direction you move it in, you'll do different tricks. And the trick system is kinda hard to master unless you use some tricks that I might teach you in this video. You can do what I'm doing here. So you just kind of move the left stick in whatever pretzel motion you feel is comfortable during the jump here. And as long as you land flat on the ground, you don't have to be facing forward, but if you're perfectly flat, you'll land the jump. As you can see, even in this video, I fucked up a couple jumps just because I'm talking and not focusing on the game, but the more tricks you do in these jumps, meaning like numbers-wise, it doesn't matter what tricks you do, you can repeat the same trick 10 times and it doesn't matter. But if you do enough tricks, you'll get ranks on your jump. So as you can see, when I land here, I'll get like a double S. And when I land here, I'll get a double S also. So the rank system goes C if you completely fuck up a jump, or I think it's D if you completely fuck up. And then it's like CBA, you know. And then there's S, double S, and X. And you're looking for those X's. A double S is fine. Like, I take a double S all day. But an X will give you a boost of speed when you land, as opposed to your normal landing speed. And it'll, you know, every rank refills your air meter, or the boost meter on the right side. Refills it more the higher the rank you get. So here's how you do really good tricks, okay? People don't really know how to do good tricks. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hold up on the stick off of the jump, and I'm just gonna wiggle it left and right. That's it. I let go a little bit too late there, but see if I can get a really good one. So if you find the sweet spot in the vertex of your GameCube controller, I'm actually not using a GameCube controller, but there you go. If you're using a real GameCube controller, it's actually easier because the notches in the stick, you'll be able to find exactly where the vertex is, where you have to hold, and just wiggle it back and forth through those thresholds, and just do a diagonal trick over and over again. That's the fastest way to spam tricks, you know, goblin mode, easy mode. Otherwise, when you're like very experienced with the game, you can start mixing it up and actually doing tricks on purpose, you know, and that's when the style of this game really comes through. That's where the emergent gameplay comes in, and that's why I love this game. But another thing is there's all these multiple paths that you've been seeing me take. Like, there's an up path and a down path off of a lot of jumps. So like, if the way you get to these jumps is it's based on the first trick that you do, or rather the direction you're holding the stick when you go off the ramp. So if you're holding forward, you will do a farther jump and land farther. If you're holding back, you'll do a higher jump. And, you know, that's how you get to, like, the higher paths, but you'll take longer in the air. Which means you get more tricks and more boost, but maybe you're, you know, really close to first and you want to get in first real quick, etc. So another thing I like to do is if you boost right before the ramp, it'll add speed to your jump. And that's a really easy way to get to the top paths here. If you boost right before a jump, you have to have enough air for it. And also, every stage has a 100 ring box right there. I just picked that one up. That's where it is in Middle City. There are competitive ROM hacks of Sonic Riders called, like, Sonic Riders DX, and there's other ones that, I don't even remember. Sonic Riders DX is, like, the main one, the main competitive one right now in the scene. But the base game is still pretty pretty good in terms of balance, and it's just a really good fucking racing game, right? What was I saying? Jumps. You gotta have enough boost. If you run out of boost, you will hop off your board and start running, and it sucks, and you can't jump. And the worst part about running is that you can't jump, because if you can't jump, you can't do a lot of tricks, and you're not going to get a lot of air back from a jump. You will get some, enough to get back on your board, but you're going to be very disadvantaged. So the main way to manage your air, obviously, is to get good tricks on jumps. Unless you, if you accidentally attack an enemy right before a jump, it'll fuck your jump, like it just did for me. But another thing is taking these shortcuts. So I've been grinding on these rails this whole time, and the way you do that is each type, as I was saying in the beginning, there's speed, power, and fly type. Oh shit. There's also these item boxes. Sometimes you get a bad one like this. Like it's like Mario Kart rules. You can turn the items off in the settings. But the speed, power, and fly type, if you boost into another person, you'll hit them, and they lose all of their rings just instantly. They go from 100 to 0, and it's really bad, and you don't want to get hit. So, a speed type character, okay, speed type is obviously what Sonic is. It just means I can use these rails that are all around, and all they do is, while I'm on them, they refill my air, and some of them, not all of them, are faster, like shortcuts. Not all of them are shortcuts. Like that, this one I just went on in Metal City, that's actually not any faster than taking like the top path or anything. It's just really good for air conservation. So that's my main recommendation. If you're running out of air a lot playing this game, take the typing shortcuts. The fly type will have ramps throughout the stage that lead to flying sections where you'll boost through rings, and each ring gives you air back in the same way. And most of those are shortcuts. The fly types are actually very strong. And then power types are probably the slowest, because their shortcuts really aren't much faster. Like they have the longest routes through levels. But power types will just punch any hazard, like most hazards. Any hazard that'll hit you, like these cars that hit Sonic and he gets, you know, knocked out. If I was Knuckles or Storm or other power type characters, he just punches that shit up, and instead of slowing down and taking damage, you literally get a boost of speed, and you get some boost in your meter. So it's really good. So the advantage of power type characters is just that you can't beat them on straights and on the main road. You have to take your shortcuts if you want to beat a good power type player. So let's go back to the menu. I'm going to show off a different stage here, because what I want to go into next is I want to go to... I actually don't have it because this is a fresh save file. God damn it. Well, I'll go to this stage. It's fine. I'm going to go Sonic again.
All right, bring it on.
There's a stage I wanted to show you, but you have to play the story mode, and I haven't because it's a fresh save file. It's fine. Doesn't matter. There's examples of this thing in this stage. So, as I said before, drifting is not only just to get around corners. It actually is not as... like, you would think it's a tool to slow you down. If you hold it in neutral, you stop, right? You probably don't want that in a racing game. But the thing about it is, if you're not holding neutral on the stick, if you're holding forward or left or right, that's another reason I recommend holding forward rather than neutral, is just so you can drift without, you know, stopping. The advantage is you don't slow down nearly as much as you think when you just tap the drift button a little bit. So if I need to reorient myself really quick, I can just tap the drift button. And this is the real main movement tool of Sonic Riders. If you want to be halfway decent, if you even want to beat the story mode, you're going to have to learn how to micro drift. And if you hold it for a long period of time, like that, you'll get a little boost, just like Mario Kart. There's only one level of it where, you know, you get the boost, you get the boost. If you hold it for 10 seconds or 3 seconds, it's the same boost. So you want to learn the timing. All the timing is the same in the base game. The ROM hacks I mentioned earlier, they change it up a little bit, where some gears take longer to get the boost, and some are faster. You know, there's even some special gears in the base game here that have an instant drift boost, but most gears are the same in this version. So micro drifting is, goddamn, I got the ball again. As you can see, I can turn way sharper. I'm not slowing down. It's hard to tell that I'm not slowing down that much because I have the iron ball, but I'm not slowing down that much. If you actually look at my speed stat on the bottom right there, that speed stat is actually pretty accurate in terms of, you know, knowing when you're accelerating and decelerating. Micro drifts do not slow you down very much, if at all. I just ran out of gas, but it was right before a thing. It's fine. Alright, low in air. But it's okay. So here's the advanced thing. Besides micro drifting, just to aim yourself throughout the courses better, is there's an advanced technique known as boost chaining. So like I said, there's the boost, which is relatively simple. So a speed type character, to grind, you press A twice. You have to jump and then press A in the air, and it's hard to tell. There's no indicator for if you're about to actually hit the rail or not. Just make sure you hit the A button at least one time after you've already left the ground, and then you'll grind. And then, you know, for flying power types, it's simpler. With fly types, you just go off the ramp and you automatically fly. And power types, you just hit the obstacles and you automatically punch them. But boost chaining I was talking about. Boost chaining. Let's restart. I'm now going to utilize boost chaining, and we're going to look at the speed indicator on the bottom right there. Because it's, like I said, it's accurate to know if you're accelerating or decelerating generally. It's not really like a unit of real measurement or anything. Like, you're not going to measure this in miles per hour. I mean, unless you want to do a fucking like Matt Pat level game theory video on is Sonic Rider's speed number accurate, and you gotta measure all the stages. Don't do that. But alright, boost chaining. I'm trying to get to this way. Boost chaining is chaining a boost, as you can imagine, with the drift, and it does some pretty fucked up stuff, and nobody's really sure if it's intended or not, but it's very powerful. If for some reason you know all these things that I've told you already in this video, but you didn't know about boost chaining and you're having trouble with any of the PvE content in this game, boost chaining is the solution for you. So here's what happens. Every gear and every character has a multiplicative total of base speed. For Sonic on the Blue Star 1, which is what I'm using right now, it's like I think it's 180. Which means just on a completely flat road, no ups or downs, no turning, no jumps, Sonic will ambiently sit at 180 units of speed. I'll call them miles per hour just because I'm American. What do you want? But 180, right? As you can see right now, I'm going 180. You'll get boosts from, like, you know, these boost pads and on rails and then jumps and everything. Your speed will change often, obviously. So, but on any straights, you want to be boost chaining. And boost chaining is just when you drift, you want to boost right before and right after you boost. I mean, you want to drift right before and right after you boost. So what that does is it re-adds your gear, your board, the board that I'm on, it re-adds its multiplier to your character's base speed again. And that is a snapshot ability. This doesn't make sense the way I'm explaining it yet, because you're lacking context. But so let's say if Sonic was not using a board at all whatsoever, let's say he goes 150, and on the Blue Star 1 his ambient speed is 180, right? So if I do a boost chain, which is I drift, boost, drift really quick. That's one right there. As you can see now, I'm going 206, and I know I'm boosting, but Sonic's ambient boost speed is actually 250. So what happened there? I went 206 when my boost speed is actually 250. That was a boost chain. So a boost chain can actually be bad for you, like it was right there. And so like I said, the Blue Star, let's say Sonic is like 150 and the Blue Star makes him go at 180 ambient speed. That means the Blue Star gear itself is like a plus 30 base speed gear, for example. I don't know the actual numbers, but for the sake of example, let's say that's the math here. So you want to be going fast enough that your character's ambient speed is already at max. So like 150 for Sonic, for example. All the numbers are like on a wiki somewhere, or you can ask a Discord. But basically, you want to be going fast already. If you're already going your max ambient speed, like 180 for example, a boost chain will be very effective. If you're boost chaining off of a dash pad, like so, it'll be even more effective because you're going even faster than your ambient speed. And so like, I'm at level 3 now, so whenever I boost, I go 250 speeds, just automatically. It just snapshots me right up to 250 speed, right? If I boost chain, like so, as you saw, it went above 250 for just a little bit right there. So that's boost chaining. So like I said, again, the input is you want to be going fast enough for it to add to your speed rather than subtract from it. And you just tap drift, boost, and tap drift again. Like that. It's a little hard to see, and it's a little hard to even hear. If you get the way to know you did it right is if you're going faster than 250 miles an hour, or you know, insert number depending on your character and gear. And you can do it as many times as you know until you get to the next jump and can't boost anymore, can't drift anymore, etc. So that's the advanced thing. That's kind of the deepest rabbit hole you can go down is learning how to boost chain, like so. Little micro drifts here. Let's just finish out this race here. One more thing is if you press both shoulder buttons, both drift buttons, you leave it behind a tornado for the cost of like, it's like a boost and a half, I think. All that does is it stays where you left it for about 10 seconds. And it's smaller than you think it is, so like a lot of people, especially humans, other humans playing against you, will be able to dodge it unless you know, spit it out right in their face as they're right behind you. It's just these little tornado there for, you know, 5-10 seconds or whatever it is. And it'll hit the enemy. I don't think it takes away their rings, it'll just, you know, bring them to a complete stop. And it's useful, especially at the end of a race, and especially against other humans. If you do it like right there is a good spot, because people are always going to be coming off of that ramp around that point. There's a good boost chain. I hit 260 there for a second. Get a little bit of gas back so I can boost into the finish line here. Actually, it doesn't matter. You land right on it. And that's basically most of your mechanics. So the main thing to learn other than that is, like, I didn't mean to restart. The main thing to learn is the maps themselves. There's a few more than what is listed here in the default save file, but a lot of them are easy to navigate if you choose the right type. You really want to like learn typings per map, just, you know, to get a good route down. And like when you're very experienced, you can learn all of the routes, so you can choose any character on any map. But a good way to learn corner practice and just navigating through the hallways of the game really well is don't play a speed character here, because you just go on that rail and you won't learn anything. But I'm in a Turbulence right now, and a Turbulence is a thing where all the NPCs and other players can also boost just the same as I can. And what it does is, when you see these little speed lines behind my character, what that means is you can't see it on your own screen, but all the other characters can see it. Is you leave behind this big wave of turbulence, and it's just a huge white, you know, wind tunnel that other characters can ride on. And when they ride on it, they go slightly faster than their ambient speed, and they can do tricks off of it to both regain air, and after you do 2 tricks on somebody else's turbulence, you'll be going faster than them, whatever their max boost speed is. If somebody's really, really good at boost chaining and you're on like a really long straight for some reason, they can outrun you even in your if you're in their turbulence. But it's a very rare phenomenon for players to be that consistently good at it, and if you're in such a prime position in a map for that to happen, right? So it's always good to hit a turbulence if you're not in first place, And the way to avoid other players catching up to you on your turbulence is you want to learn the timing of your boosts in terms of, like, when I press the boost button, the turbulence starts coming out, and you want to learn when the turbulence is going to end, when your boost ends, right? And when it ends, you can try to point the tippy tip of the end of your turbulence wave toward, like, a pit or a wall. And I'll show you how to do that right now. Here, go around the bend here real quick. Let's see, I can make a turbulence, and I'm just gonna face into the wall just like that. So that's gonna leave a lot of players on the outside ring of that ramp, and it'll slow them down just a little bit. I mean, or they can avoid the turbulence. So it's good to be aware of that mechanic, because that's one of the least explained things in the game is turbulence. Like, you'll see it as you're playing and you'll ride in it, but you may not know what causes it or how it works, right? So that's how it works. And knowing that you produce it also is a you know, obviously very useful information. Here's the power type shortcuts for the stage, by the way. Very useful information, so you can manipulate it like so, in that way. So what have we gone over? We did tricks, we did tornadoes, we did boosts, boost chaining, power types. I mean, that's basically the basics of Sonic Riders. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over to Sonic Riders DX, which is a very competitively balanced ROM hack of the game, and adds a lot of stuff and rebalances everything to be more competitively viable. You know, where there's less OP stuff like Supersonic is toned down, but also has new mechanics that make them even cooler, in my opinion. We're gonna switch over to that. Be right back. Here we are in Sonic Riders DX. So first thing you're gonna notice about this ROM hack is they got custom music, baby, and it's sick as hell. So we're gonna enter. This ROM hack will come with the save file with the rest of the stages that I want to show you. So let's just go back to Metal City, and there's also way more characters. I have all these are all the base game characters up to this red robot guy. And then they've added Chaos, Silver, Metal Sonic, and then all these slots actually don't, there's no characters for these yet. There is a random, though, that they added. These are just open slots for other modders to come in and add custom characters, but these are all the actual competitively legal characters if you want to join the Discord and actually compete with other people, which I recommend, because this game's fucking awesome. Let's play as, like, Shadow, for example. So I have all the gears in this version, and they're all competitively rebalanced. Shadow actually doesn't even have this board. His default is the darkness right here. This is his default gear that you unlock with him. But they added a board for him to use, which is pretty cool looking. So anyway, we're going back to Metal City here. I'm going to show you one more thing, and then you can be on your way practicing. So in this ROM hack, there's no NPCs, it's just you're looking for time, and that's it. So, another thing in this ROM hack, there's no 100 ring boxes. As you can see, that one I picked up earlier, it's just not there. So I'm not going to pick it up. I just removed those because it's kind of unfair. Whoever just happens to be in first on lap 1 just is going to stay at lap 1 when they have, I mean, stay in first when they have fucking 100 rings. So last thing here is, when you do a ramp trick into a rail, it's very fast, right? The best thing you can do out of any typing shortcut, whether it's power, whether it's landing from a fly, or, you know, coming off a rail, is to do another boost chain. But this boost chain is going to be a little bit different because it's the same input. You just hit drift as soon as you land off of, like, a rail, for example, and then boost, and then hold drift again. But you're gonna hold drift while you press boost. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to explain. You'll get a feel for it. Just fuck around with it, and then, like so. There you go. So I hit a 250. Bam, that was a 290 boost chain right there. That's how you do them real good. And that's about the fastest you can go. Oops, I fucked up that jump. The main thing, the number one thing, if you actually want to, like, play this game more than just casually, or if you're trying to beat the story and actually get good, is join the Discord. It's the Extreme Gear Labs Discord that they made this ROM hack, and it's insanely good. It's got all this custom music, and you know, there's other way more stuff that I'm not showing off here. You start with everything, all the boards and everything, so you can jump right into whatever competitive, whatever you want to do. And that's I probably skipped over some stuff. I didn't write a script or anything. I just kind of went over all the fundamentals that are important to know for people who are struggling with grappling how this game feels and works. So, you know, big bullet points is use the drift button as like a clutch button to reorient yourself and aim yourself and just have better control throughout. And make sure you get those drift boosts right there, and learn how to boost chain. That's the big three things. Other than that, you know, it's double tap A to grind. That's hard to figure out. The game doesn't really teach you that. And I'm gonna show you the thing I was talking about earlier. If we go to Babylon Garden here, with I'll just use like the Blue Star 2 spoilers. Sonic unlocks this Blue Star 2 later on in the story. This is the importance of using micro boosts, or micro drifts rather. So I'm gonna progress through this lap just like normal. So like, look how fucking sick this game is. First of all, right? We'll hit this right here. So right kind of towards the end of the lap here, we're just gonna fast forward maybe.
Emergency alert.
Alright, so around here, there's a big turn right here that you can take a speed type. I definitely recommend a speed type for this particular stage, but once you get better at aiming yourself. So right here, okay, this turn coming up, I'm just gonna try to turn around this turn without, well, I am gonna drift. I'm gonna drift around this turn, okay, and you're gonna see what happens. As you can see, I hit the wall and I didn't really get a boost. I might have held it too long there, but a lot of people will fall off there, and they can't turn sharp enough. It's especially dependent on your gear. Some gears have worse handling than others, but this is the importance of the micro drifting to get around. As you see how much more control I have. I don't even have to like use the stick pretty much. I just tilt left or right a little bit and just use the drift button. As you can see, I'm spamming it to really like jut yourself. So right here, I'm gonna skip the speed rail here and really get around this turn without fully drifting. I'm just gonna, oops, all right, a little bit not enough there. You want to drift a little bit. There you go. So after you get a drift boost, like I said, just doing a micro drift doesn't slow you down all that much. So after a drift boost, I want to drift into this corner and then around and micro drift. And that's how you really get the control. That's how you really fucking get those sick lines and really, you know, kick ass in this game. Is just learning how to keep yourself fucking in the spot that you want to be in at all times. Do a little boost chain right there, but the speed pad stopped me. That's alright. Bam. Anyway, this game's fucking sick, is the point. So I went over all that. That was the last thing, is the drift button is the most important button in the entire game, even more so than the boost button. But also the boost button is second most important because of boost chaining. Anyway, that's the point. Thank you for watching. My name is Arcader. This game's fucking sick. Go download it. Go join the Extreme Gear Labs Discord. It's insane. This is the best Sonic game. I will take no questions except for about this tutorial. I will take no questions about this being the best Sonic game. You're wrong if you disagree. But if you have any questions about the game proper, please let me know down in the comments. I'd be happy to give you any guides. I'll leave a link down to the Discord in the description. And have yourself a fast day. Why the fuck? Why did I say that?